I can just quickly, I started in Nordea Markets as a junior shipping analyst, and then I moved on to Furnace. Unfortunately, in Furnace, there were some issues with the people I worked with, so I ended up resigning my job. But I didn't have anything to any other job lined up, so I was quite in the woods basically. I remember I had this Excel sheet calculating how much runway I had before my mortgage were were in what called delinquency or whatever. So but I had a couple of years, so I wasn't too stressed. But then I applied for a lot of work, and it was this was in 2014 or late 2013. So the oil price were collapsing. So the oil industry in Norway, everyone was out of work, and everyone was kind of looking into finance to see if they could get some work there. So it was a lot of competition. So I ended up in Santander. I was basically responsible for their liquidity portfolio. So it was around 2 billion US in investment grade papers. It was a great place to work, great coworkers, but coming from shipping, I found that investment grade bonds were not kind of the most exciting thing. I had to, the main kind of what we were looking at were maturities and trying to squeeze half a basis point out of our investments here and there, and giving the Swedish state all our money for negative 97 basis points. So it was a different ballpark. But the good thing was that for me, used to working 12 hours a day, now having only to work 7.5, that gave me a lot of time. So I started in the evening, started my own company, Gersemi Research, and I started with a plan. Let's see, I wanted to continue shipping research. Let's see, I just continued doing what I did before. I'm quite good at programming, so I programmed away about half of the workload I used to have. And I didn't have to talk to any clients, so that was a big time saver as well. And then I started to build, I just wanted to start build track record. I thought to myself, if the track record is bad, I can just remove it afterwards. But it turned out to be quite good, so I kept it. And then started with target prices and recommendations, doing all those things and trying to figure out a business model where I can monetize on it. So I tried, yeah, sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask. So, how did you land sort of the first few clients? Did you build that track record up first and then sort of reached out, or was it people incoming to you?
So the kind of the challenge was how to monetize, what business model. So I tried a lot of different business models. So one of the ones I had biggest hopes for were a volume-based retail focused business model. So I would basically, I thought I could charge maybe $10, $20 a month and target the US retail market. And then that should be enough for a one person shop, right? So I remember I had first I gave it away for free. So I built a list, and then I remember the day I converted that list, and I said, now I need I don't know the number. I think maybe it was 200 a year, and I had zero conversions, zero. Um, so that was quite tough. So okay, so I just figured out, okay, that didn't work. Back to drawing board. So I basically opened up again for free, and then I thought, okay, so instead of volume, I go for a few large clients, and that's when I kind of came in contact with Cleaves, because they had a big equity raise they were working on. And I mean, we were talking $300 million to my recollection, and that's very big for most players, especially for a smaller player like Cleaves. So they asked me if I could help them. So I basically started working as a consultancy for them. But then I saw a conflict because I was doing this day time job. And then I was starting to earn money in the evenings, and I didn't really like to do those kind of two jobs simultaneously. So I thought to myself I needed to kind of get away from the Santander job and do this full time, because once you start working with shipping, you kind of get it into your blood and you never get it out again. So I knew shipping was the right path for me. And then I met Cleaves, worked as a consultancy, ended up as a full-time job heading up their research department and kind of building the whole department from scratch. But it was always a thought that I would end up in fund management under the Cleaves umbrella.
I mean, that's super interesting. There are several points I would like to touch upon, but the one that I would love to start with is basically that this is sort of shows that you, through dedication and hard work, actually can sort of create your dream job and basically, you know, go out building in public, getting experience, and like if you're good enough, you know, you will find the great opportunities regardless in the end.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because when my career path was kind of planned out, I had my plan. I wanted to do a few years in equity research and then go over to fund management. But since I met some challenges at Fernleys, I basically had to try to find a new path. And that's exactly so when I were at Santander and started doing the consultancy on this in the evenings, I was maybe the Fernley incident sent me back 3, 4, 5 years, but then at least I got back on track. And yeah, you can definitely, if you're kind of passionate and wanted to do something, you will get there as long as you work hard enough and kind of think about the path to get there.